Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just got done watching Joe Biden's first official interview after the disastrous debate, and oh my goodness, we've got ABC reporting and admitting after the debate that Biden is in total denial. George Stephanopoulos brings up the polls. He denies them again. Remember, this goes back to Easter during Biden's Easter Sunday meltdown. They brought him the polls and they said, you're going to lose. And he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs. And they're reporting that Jill Biden now, this is ABC reporting that Jill Biden is lashing out, freaking out, going crazy. Hunter Biden just screaming. He wakes up in the middle of the night, just starts screaming for no reason. These people are crazy and they want, I mean, the Democrats, I would say 70, 80%, maybe even more. They made note that Biden's circle is so small, and that's exactly what was reported the past week, 2 weeks. They went to Biden after his horrible debate performance, and now he is convinced based off of basically thin air. I mean, they ask him, they're like, he asked him several times, he's like, where are you getting these polls? You're losing everything, and it's only gotten worse. And they actually went light on Biden. They didn't bring up how historically bad this polling is for a Democratic president. Normally, the Democrats get really good polling numbers going into the election, or at least it's 50-50 right now for Biden, based on the fact that he won by 7 million votes, but only won basically by 40K votes in 4 swing states. Now that he's losing the popular vote that he won by 7 million votes, it's horrible. And Biden says the polls are fake. They're not real. And he doesn't even have a clue. He's like trying to throw random numbers out. And, you know, he's like, oh, New York Times, or you didn't even know the one pollster. But I mean, there's like 20 different pollsters, not just 2 different ones where you're down by 6 points. We've seen this time and time again. And so Biden is totally in denial. And you can see, did you even watch the debate afterwards? I don't think I did. Do you know how badly it was going? Incoherent rambling. It seemed like you were having trouble from the first question. I just had a bad night. Well, yeah, Biden tried using the excuse. This was right at the start of the debate. They released this early. It's like a 2-minute clip. Biden tried using the excuse, well, Trump was constantly lying, and with the different format where you couldn't interrupt, it was tough. He was trying to do that. And Stephanopoulos says, interrupts him and says, you were having issues before Trump spoke. And that's the exact thing that I had said back right after the debate when Biden and they were trying to use the fact that Trump was lying all the time. And, that's what distracted Biden. And then Biden says another excuse during this interview. He's like, I was trying to talk and Trump's mic was cut off, but he was still talking and it was distracting me. And then he was like, but no, it's not an excuse. Oh, no, it's not an excuse. So, and then the other thing, they were like, well, they thought Biden was better than expected. Biden will pause for like 5 seconds. And this happens like every question. Seriously, go back and watch this. It's every question. There's pauses. There's, he'll go like that. So it's just a constant thing. It's not like, I will say they got his makeup done well. Hunter did a good job with the mascara, the makeup there. He looks a little bit more orange, tan, vibrant, certainly better than on the debate night. So the new advisors, Jill and Hunter, doing a good job there. But this is more of the same. The Democrats want him out. This is a horrible situation. You've got report after report. There was a rumor that Hillary Clinton was going to replace him. And Stephanopoulos is like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. This is terrible. There are high up Democrats saying to just get out of the race. And then they finally got at the end. It was like pulling teeth from Biden to try and get him to drop. They're like trying to get him to drop out at this point. ABC is with all the questions. They're like, well, what if Pelosi and Schumer and every Democrat tells you to drop out? Will you actually do it? And then he says something like, well, if that ends up happening, we'll discuss it when we get there, but it's not going to happen. That's basically what he said. But there's reports coming out that he is going to drop out possibly next week. I guess we will have to wait and see. But the interview was just total denial. It was already reported by ABC right after the interview was aired that the Democrats were not impressed and they're very concerned. They're even more concerned at the end of the interview. They ask Biden, they're like, well, what if you lose and all of the horrible, evil stuff that you say Trump's going to do, he actually does it? Biden says, well, I don't really care because I've given it my all, which obviously Democrats, I'm sure they hate that answer. It's got to be a very frustrating answer to hear. Like, you're this old, you can barely talk, get out of the race. And if he loses, he just goes, well, what are you going to do? I gave it my all. I mean, that's got to be infuriating me. I think it's hilarious, but that's basically what happened with this interview. And we do have other reports. I don't know if I want to go up or down on this because I've got like a lot of different things. So that's just the same thing there. Reporter, will you debate Trump? after your humiliating performance. Yeah, so Biden's down to debate Trump. I think he's desperate to do it. And I do think, because you can see what he says, I hope he'll debate me. Yeah, there was the idea that Trump would really not need to debate Biden again, but Biden needs more debates for sure. But Trump did offer on his Truth Social to potentially do a debate without a moderator where they're just talking. I'm not sure how feasible that is, but it seems like Biden is down for whatever. He needs to try and redeem himself, and maybe the Democrats will push for an early debate to try and, possibly get momentum back. Or it really seems like about 80% of the Democrats that have power are against Biden. Now, I know that, the thing that came out, all the governors meeting with him, they endorsed him, they said he's fine, but in general, it's being like the circle for Biden is so tight, and the people that are telling him to stay in the race are literally his family. That's about it. And maybe a few other advisors and campaign people that are with him every day. But in general, it seems extremely tight. And it's like Hunter and Jill are just, they want him to stay in. And so right now he's staying in, and he's in total denial when it comes to any of the polls still. We've got Axios coming out and saying that Biden has lost all independence. One former Biden aide told Axios, Annie, Ashley, and Anthony create a protective bubble around Biden. He's staffed so closely that he's lost all independence. He relies on staff to nudge him with reminders of who he's meeting with, including former staffers and advisors who Biden should easily remember without a reminder. So see, this is just Biden. He's ridiculously old. Now it's all starting to come out, even from liberal sources. They're leaking all of this because they want to put pressure on Biden to step down. But right now, Biden, based off that interview, is not budging. There's so many different reports saying he's going to step down at some point. I guess we'll have to see. Here, this is the rumor. I don't know about this. I'm hearing rumors from several sources within the Democrats. They're planning to dump Biden after the upcoming debate, or I guess that was after the last debate. There's no debate upcoming until September. It's not going to be with Kamala Harris. It's going to be with Hillary. Imagine that. That would be hilarious. Get a Trump-Hillary rematch. Have Hillary debate Trump. You can see, so this is the record low approval rating for Biden, and they did mention this during his interview. It is crazy. So Biden, if you combined all the polls, this is just the average with all of them, 36.9, under 37% approval rating. That is a disapproval plus 20.2. That is an approval rating lower than Trump's approval rating right after COVID happened, when it was tanked significantly into the 30s. Biden's is still lower. So you're starting to see the Democrats realize you just simply cannot win. And this is stuff I talked about like 4 or 5 months ago. You're not going to win with an approval rating this low. It's just impossible. And Stephanopoulos said that during the interview. He said, if you've got an approval rating of 36%, you're just not going to win. And then Biden said, well, I don't buy the polls. I think the polls are fake, which obviously is a total non-answer based on how we've seen polling done in the past with approval rating in comparison to who wins elections. Not only that, normally, it overrates Democrats. At least it has during Trump's runs in 2020 and 2016. So he's in total denial. You also do have possibly Disney stop donating to Democrats until Biden withdrawals from the race, which is just crazy. 10 headlines the media didn't tell you this week. RFK is open to replacing Biden as the... See, the Democrats, I don't think would do that, and I don't think RFK would do that. I have not heard that anywhere. Maybe it's true, I don't know, but I don't think the Democrats want RFK. He's not liberal enough for them, and there's really no talk of it happening because I don't think there's the agreement there with RFK and the top Democrats. They want someone that they can really hone in and control and is going to kind of move the liberal movement even further to the left. That's why you're looking at a Whitmer, you're looking at a Newsom, you're looking at Harris. Harris is also not a good, candidate, and they even admit it. They say, there's big-time pollsters that have said Kamala Harris is like the most unlikable VP we've had in at least 3 decades. So it's really bad for her as well. That's why there's no great candidate. They screwed themselves with the DEI Harris VP position when they really wanted Tulsi Gabbard, but she left them. She said, no, I'm not a Democrat anymore. And so they had to go with Harris. CNN's chief medical correspondent, Sanjay Gupta, remember, from Joe Rogan, says that Joe Biden should undergo detailed cognitive testing following his debate performance. Now, CNN is putting the pressure on Biden to drop out with this. There's really no reason to do this. Certainly that might be his opinion in general, but why would you bring him on and talk about it like that? There's this clear narrative going around they're trying to push to get Biden to drop out. especially during the middle of a campaign, have your chief doctor come on and say Biden needs to undergo. Oh, yeah. And then Biden, I forgot to mention the whole cognitive thing. Stephanopoulos is like, you need to take a cognitive test. Have you taken one? It's like pulling teeth. Biden won't answer it. He says, I take a test every day. What are you talking about? He's like, he's referencing like running the country as a cognitive test. And then he finally, gets him down and says, I understand what you're talking about, but are you actually going to take a cognitive test? And then Biden says no. So Biden is in total denial about the polls, about what the American people think of him, about what Democrats think of him as well. So that's all going on. And then I think I do have other stuff possibly up this way. Here it is. They're going with Kamala. You can see why this memo, we are currently losing. We need to do something different to win. The popular discourse is not a realistic reflection of our opinions. We need a clear-eyed analysis of what is possible. Like it or not, there's one realistic path. It is Kamala. And you can see new memo circulated around major Democrat donors and top-level Democrat Party operatives in order to make the case for Kamala. And you also have Morning Joe coming back to NBC. I guess he took the week off. And he's even saying now, after kind of hinting at it after the debate, Biden needs to consider getting out of the presidential race. Of course, this is a dude 3 months ago said Biden was in great shape, totally gaslighting all of us, saying that Trump was in worse shape. And now he's absolutely changed his tune when it comes to that. And you also do have Montana. This is big news. Montana's U.S. Senate race has shifted from lean Republican to likely Republican. I never thought Montana, even though it's a Senate race, would go left. I think that's ridiculous. And now it's likely Republican. That's huge for the Senate. The Senate's relatively close. Houses, I believe, is even closer. But that is that. And then top pollster admits that Harris is the most unpopular VP since Dan Quayle. Most Democrats are terrified of replacing her. Why? Because nobody wants to knock out an African-American woman and be held responsible. Exactly what me and a lot of other people said about Kamala. Even though her numbers are so bad, they have to keep her in there because of the optics. So now it's all come out. It's all been reported. This has been said for months by me. I said it was impossible to do this. Then I kind of thought they weren't going to give a shit and just say, screw it, get her out. But apparently they have to keep her because they feel, if they remove her, it's horrible for optics. They actually are going to keep her, and she's probably going to be the nominee. So this has all come out, but that is just the reaction to the Biden interview, his first comments. Obviously, it was nothing special. There was no potential dropout. Biden was in total denial, and a lot of incoherent stuff from him. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.